Like, it's a joke, people. And the people who are offended are all, like, the same people who are always offended. The overly medicated, deeply unhappy, liberal white women who live in, like, a box of misery, just waiting to be offended at all things.
It's a joke.
Tom Hanks was involved in a skit
on SNL.
They think you're
racist.
Pathetic performance.
Hollywood has learned
absolutely nothing.
You guys are so hilarious, aren't you?
Saturday Night Live didn't get the memo that Trump is popular. His approval rating is very high, higher than it's ever been.
Subscribe to
Slappercat. And I think people get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target. And smart people know you can deal with anything, you know, particularly when they're dealing with like something like irony.
Tonight's show contains jokes about terrible things that may have affected you and the people that you love. But these are just jokes, they're not the terrible things.
You get these people, don't you, and they'll probably always be with us, who get offended by comedy. And I used to not mind, until it occurred to me one day, most people who get offended by jokes watch porn. There's someone right now watching torture porn going, I hope nobody makes a joke about a fucking swimmer's nose.
In February 2025, Saturday Night Live celebrated 50 years of mediocrity with a skit featuring Tom Hanks playing a Trump supporter who didn't want to shake a black man's hand.
He was rubbish.
And in a bizarre, unlikely, never-seen-before turn of events, some right-wingers who can totally take a joke and say the left totally can't take a joke got all up in their fee-fees about a joke.
Extremely pathetic.
Benny Johnson is one of Putin's paid right-wing pundits who larps as a journalist, and he pretended he was disgusted by the skit and shat out this tweet.
SNL decided it was a good idea to depict Tom Hanks as a racist Trump supporter in a MAGA hat, afraid to shake a black man's hand. Donald Trump just won a landslide election and has never been more popular with Americans.
This is not a landslide. Nixon and Reagan won by mother-humping landslides.
That's impressive.
Let's hear Benny cry about a joke, and then a nice set of clips showing how he mocks people for crying about a fucking joke.
During the SNL's star-studded 50th anniversary, Tom Hanks did a racist and disgusting skit.
Can we all just take a chill pill and take a joke from time to time?
Where he played a member of MAGA, and he refused to shake the hand of a black man. This was his portrayal. This is supposed to be really hilarious.
And it would have been the absolute height of hilarity if they were mocking somebody Benny does not like.
So you piss off 100 million Americans who support President Trump?
Hold up.
100 million Americans?
You have proof?
Slander them as racists?
Was it slander when SNL mocked Biden, or was it savage and hilarious? I mean, at least Benny knows his audience. People who get their fee-fees hurt and think a lawyer can kiss it better. And I don't know why you're asking if there is one. If you think you've been defamed, then go hire one.
Sue me!
Anyway, now back to last year when Benny mocked the Libs for having no sense of humour when Tony Hinchcliffe told jokes at Trump's rally.
I want to talk about a guy named Tony Hinchcliffe. I think I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right, Alex? Tony Hinchcliffe. My apologies. I know him as Kill Tony.
Which is why after you pronounce his name correct once, you then get it wrong for the rest of the video.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
You can't even pronounce it.
And now, tell us what a massive fan you are of this guy you've never fucking heard of.
I've heard of him. Tony Hinchcliffe. Maybe you haven't heard of him. One of the most powerful and successful comedians working today. To say he's in the top 5, maybe the top 3.
Would be the sort of thing that I'd expect to hear from somebody who knew the man's name.
Without a doubt, one of the most powerful comedians working today. Without question. He's in the top 3 or top 5. Okay? That's how big this guy is.
If Tony Hinch rhymes with Pinchcliffe is so powerful and successful, then why is he not on the top 10 highest grossing comics of 2024 or this top 150 list of funniest comedians? Also, did you notice how Benny said Tony is powerful and successful, but not funny?
I did, yes.
I've seen Tony's one and only special, and in my opinion, the reason Netflix didn't renew and it was removed from Spotify is because it's sloppy, undercooked, and painfully unfunny.
It's called a roast. It's called comedy. Comedy, by its very nature, is something that maybe you're not supposed to say. But this is like the nature of comedy. This is the guy who they're all coming after today. He roasted everyone because he's a comedian. He's a guy who's just going up to talk on, to do an act on stage, crack some jokes, make fun of some people, hilarious jokes that are intended to offend. That's what stand-up comics do. Like, it's a joke.
The SNL skit Benny is crying about is a painfully unfunny joke, but a joke nonetheless. And if jokes are intended to offend, then the Tom Hanks skit is doing exactly what it says on the tin.
They're proving exactly how joyless, how broken, how completely and totally soulless, how unhappy, how unfunny, how unloving, and how just miserable, frankly, of a movement they are by not being able to take a joke.
Racist and disgusting skit.
I'm sorry, Benny, didn't have my full attention there because I was looking at the news. Apparently some right-wingers are crying about satire. I want to point out Ben Shapiro's take on this skit.
Either way, not a good joke, and some people were offended by it. Again, Hollywood basically insulting the MAGA supporters is not a great look, but, you know, to be fair, that's a pretty mild jab. I think people may be overreacting.
I agree.
I don't like Ben or his politics, but I can still agree people are overreacting to this joke. Some people are confused how I can condemn Hassan if Destiny behaved worse.
Easy peasy.
I don't have to like or agree with Destiny to point out Hassan is a hypocrite for taking a joke out of context and crying when the same happens to him.
I just don't get it.
Agreeing with a serial killer that the sky is blue isn't an endorsement of him keeping heads in his fridge.
Food for thought. Like, what's truly hateful is like telling people they're not allowed to laugh or enjoy themselves or like kick back and relax. And people that just want to joke and laugh and like live in an America that isn't so uptight and pretentious all the time. If you want to find something to be offended about, you can go find it.
Racist and disgusting skit.
You live in misery when you live like that.
Seconds after Benny said this, Benny forgot what he just said, and then Benny said this.
And this is what the vice presidential candidate is deciding to do in the end hours of an election, is to sit on a stream with AOC and play video games.
Remember, these are the adults in the room.
Seconds after he said the libs are uptight, he acts uptight and mocks them for having fun.
Seems like very hypocritical.
We all know that if Trump was playing video games, it'd be epic and
Based.
in my irrelevant opinion, Benny is not disgusted by this skit. Methinks it's 100% performative because if he truly was offended, then surely he could muster the self-awareness to realise he's exactly the same as the liberals he mocks for saying Tony's jokes are racist.
That's true.
There's no racism on either side, and in my opinion, it's very, very simple. Just like the people on the left, Benny Johnson
Practices selective outrage.
There's jokes you laugh at and jokes you don't laugh at. And even if he is truly offended, just remember,
Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right.
Like the bloody video.